A developing news situation. According to NBC News, U.S. forces securing a Russia-flagged tanker linked to Venezuela. The ship is currently sailing between Iceland and Scotland, with Moscow saying it's monitoring the situation with concern. Bloomberg's Simon Casey joins us now for more. Simon, welcome to the programme. What do we know about this tanker? Is it a Russian vessel or not?
It's a Russian-linked vessel, I think we can call it that. It's part of the Shadow Fleet, which is, many of you know, it's part of this global fleet of tankers that subject to sanctions. Frequently they turn off their transponders, they sort of literally try to fly under the radar. And this was a tanker that was chased away from the coast of Venezuela last month by US ships when it was trying to dock in Venezuela. As I say, it's a sanctioned vessel. President Trump in recent weeks has implemented this blockade on Venezuela to try to halt exports of oil from the country via sanctioned tankers, part of putting pressure on the regime. This was just before the seizure of Maduro, of course. So this tanker has been sort of chased across the Atlantic, essentially, over the past few weeks, and things have reached their head this morning.
Simon, what do you think the consequences are? And I know it's very early days. And I know it's maybe a little bit dangerous to go into the realm of speculation, but as you sit here and watch this play out, what do you think the consequences could be from a situation like this one?
Well, it's not the first tanker to be seized, of course. We had another sanctioned tanker seized last month. That tanker was full of oil. This one is empty, by the way. That tanker that's full of oil now sits off the coast of Texas. We expect that in due course the US government will take the legal steps necessary to take ownership of that oil. In this case, the tanker that's just been seized today, it's empty. There are still questions why that particular tanker. As I said, there's this shadow fleet out there. There are many tankers on the ocean, some still in the vicinity of Venezuela. Why the interest in this one, we don't know. Is there something aboard that tanker? We can really only speculate at this stage. In terms of further ramifications, this has been quite a spectacle. We'll see what the Russian response is in due course, but it doesn't really help relations between US and Russia at this stage. There may be ramifications with the efforts to engineer some sort of ceasefire in Ukraine. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in the course of today.
Simon, if the US continues to go after the shadow fleets almost around the world, what would that do to the oil price?
Well, Venezuela it's a shadow of what it once was in terms of an oil producer. It produces currently less than 1 million barrels a day, probably substantially less than that right now, in a global market of over 100 million barrels a day of consumption. And we're in a glut at the moment. The oil price has declined quite a bit over the last 12 months. We think prices could even head lower this year, regardless of what happens with Venezuela. The world can live without Venezuelan oil. So there's no sort of significant market impact. Certainly consumers are probably not going to notice anything from this.
Secretary Wright right now is saying that Venezuela can increase output by 700,000 barrels a day in the medium term. What do you make of that? How quickly could we see a ramp up?
I think that's a pretty bullish assessment. If you speak to people in the industry who know Venezuela pretty well, we're currently, as I say, less than 1 million barrels a day. Its peak back in the 1970s was over 3 million barrels. It also reached close to that level in the 90s. But since then, the industry has gone on there in Venezuela has gone and undergone real stresses, lack of investment, corruption, disrepair, you name it. There's a host of problems, and these are not going to be easy to fix. There will be some short-term fixes that if companies come in right now, spend a lot of money, maybe they can bump production a bit, but I think the significant kind of recovery, which is what President Trump was talking about on Saturday when he spoke from Mar-a-Lago, that's years away.